Hi, my name is Olajide Olagunju, and I'm the author of the book, How to Resolve a Conflict. That's the book I'd like to share with you on the screen now. Um, how to resolve a conflict. Yes, um, that's the book. And the book is the text for the lecture you just joined, which is also titled How to Resolve a Conflict. So you are now in How to Resolve a Conflict lecture 45. That means we've done 44 lectures, and they are all available on YouTube. You can watch so that you can catch up with us. Um, we are now discussing the mediator, attributes, skills of the mediator, and all that, that makes the mediator effective. And what I'd like us to do today is to move on to discuss another aspect of those mediator personalities and and effectiveness. So I'll read and then we'll move on. Benefits of effective communication. 1, solidarity. When effective communication is in place, then the need for a third party is ruled out, precisely because third parties such as judges, arbitrators, and even mediators only come in the absence of effective communication. Effective communication, therefore, solidifies a relationship, be it political, diplomatic, contractual, or social. I think that's pretty straightforward. And we must not forget that as mediators, good mediators, that the only reason why the parties came to us to help them is because they could not communicate. Our big job is to promote effective communication. And so we want to remember that we do not leave this most important activity, communication, for any other thing. And that's our big job. That's our key role, promoting effective communication. It is when we make effective communication happen that the challenges with the relationship in conflict can begin to have semblance of resolution. And that's why I use the word solidarity. It's, effective communication solidifies relationships. It doesn't matter at what level. It could be family, it could be contractual and business, government, political, diplomatic, all that. Challenges arise when we are not able to communicate anymore. We want to always remember that conflicts happen only because there was a relationship. I know that it's a time for us to deal with that towards the end of the lecture. We're going to talk, especially when we are reading, taking a look at chapter 10, the 7 secrets of effective conflict resolution. But for now, what's important is that for us as mediators to know that what we are doing when we are building effective communication into our conflict resolution system is that we are promoting solidarity in these relationships that are in conflict so that they will not need us next time. We should not turn the parties to needy babies, that need to come run to us every time they have a conflict in the future. If we promote effective conflict mediation, effective communication, this conflict we are helping parties to resolve now. We build that into them. So when they have a problem in the future, they don't have to talk directly to themselves. It's still mediation. I called it earlier on self-mediation. You can call it integrative negotiation. Let's move on. Let's talk here about openness. Openness. I read this. Effective communication between two people leads to one being an effective mirror of the other. This can only lead to the growth of both of them individually and as a group. The party is able to open up his mind while the mediator is able to help the parties arrive at a successful and acceptable resolution. I think what I've read so far is pretty clear. When um, openness is engendered, effective communication happens, and it improves as the process goes on. And eventually, the parties are able to arrive at a successful and acceptable resolution by that fact of effective communication promoted by the mediation, building openness into the system, promoting openness so that the parties can more and more communicate with one another. Every mediator knows that he becomes useful to the parties only when they open up to him to enable him to understand the root of the conflict. Because once you have an understanding of the root of the conflict, you would have likely resolved the conflict. Again, pretty straightforward. Every mediator, good mediators know that their relevance is in how much information they get. And how much information they get is a function of how open the parties are to him. So that he can understand what really is at the root of the conflict, which would eventually lead to effective conflict resolution. I read on. The mediator, therefore, needs effective communication to succeed, and the parties need the same to resolve their conflicts satisfactorily. Again, pretty clear. I'll just move on to the next topic. Liberty. Effective communication means there's mutual respect and appreciation, which translates to freedom, freedom of expression, and other attributes of free people. A party can only express himself or herself fully and freely when there's effective communication. And as we mentioned above, when effective communication has been built, the parties free themselves from future third-party intervention in their relationship. So again, we are promoting freedom. And we should kind of enjoy that our activity as mediators free people, free their mind, free their relationship, free their business, free their polity, their country, their government. Because that freedom would, of course, lead to progress. Still speaking about the duties of the mediator, I just want to run through specific duties of the mediator. I hope we have time to do that. Yeah, we could begin discussing specific duties of the mediator. So I read specific duties of the mediator. One, dealing with principles. Where principles are involved in a conflict, it is the duty of the mediator to determine what principles are thought to be at stake, whose principles they are, whether the principles arose with the conflict or preceded it, and whether the principles are relevant to the resolution of the conflict. So 4 things. If principles are coming up in a conflict resolution, we want to look at this for. What principles? Whose principles? Did the principles arise with the conflict or they were there before? And whether the principles are relevant to the resolution of the conflict or not. I think we could discuss that in the next lecture. I suggest we stop here for now and continue in the next lecture. Except to say, I would like you to remember to try your hands at the conflicts that you encounter, whether at home or in business or at work. try hard in terms of applying the skills we are learning. And of course, see if you could get a copy of the book and read the book, How to Love a Conflict. As I said before, it's available on all Amazon outlets. And very importantly, please, before you go, click the subscribe button, subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much.